Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Back in the hot seat. I grew up in the Nation of Islam, and I grew up in America. I was always told the right way to do things, but I was very disobedient. I was very wild acting. I did not listen to exactly what my mother was telling me or this person or that person was telling me. I thought I knew it all. Okay, that's growing up. As time went on, and that separation between me and my parents, between obedience and disobedience, the gap grew bigger and bigger and bigger. Now, fast forward to this. We're told to seek refuge in Allah, right? We're taught to, when we go through situations, to seek assistance, right? If we're going through a trial, it says seek assistance through patience and prayer. And that's what we're supposed to do when we're hit with trials. I wasn't guided by hand, which I would like to have happened from my father, or someone to say, hey, if you go through a heartbreak, if you go through a trauma, if you go through being embarrassed or belittled or humiliated or any kind of thing, any kind of pain, this is what you do. You seek assistance through patience and prayer, right? But to understand that going to that prayer rug is really, really the best way to handle your problems initially. You know, that is the initial step, is to give that pain over to Allah. We can talk about it with other people, but we really do not understand the importance of getting down and saying, hey, I don't know what to do with this. And you give it over to Allah in your sincerity, in your confession, in your tears, and you immediately start to feel better as soon as you get up. I did not know how to do that, so I'm going to share this story with you. It was a grave mistake that I made. I was going through a marriage, and I was living in St. Louis at the time. I was doing good. I had 2-3 jobs. Taught martial arts to the mosque there. I also was working with another brother, doing some landscaping and clean outs for foreclosed homes and doing all kind of stuff, right? I had a lot of, little sources of income. I was taking care of myself pretty decent. Had a house, furnished, and I was just, doing good, right, for myself. However, I was in this rocky relationship, and me and the sister had, separated for a while, and then she came back to St. Louis, and once that happened, I lost it because I was not ready for this relationship, because I had left another marriage. And once I got out of that, which was a very tough situation, I didn't give myself time to heal. So when I went to St. Louis, I started that healing process. It was, I was feeling very good at going to the mosque, teaching martial arts, and experiencing St. Louis and the beauty of the brotherhood there and the sisters. It was just a wonderful experience. So I tried to get back into this relationship, but I did not know how to deal with pain, disappointment, the arguing, or my peace being disturbed. I wasn't solid enough to deal with that. I did not understand what I should do if these situations came up, because it's not as easy as just saying, hey, let's make this work and let's talk to each other and, it's going to be fine. It's not easy like that, especially if you're still wounded from a past relationship and you have not healed or given yourself time to assess the damage that you went through or that you put on others. So fast forward, I went through this very traumatic experience with my first wife. So here I am married to the second sister, and both of these women are beautiful, good women, very, very positive, strong women. And I thank Allah for them, and I thank Allah for my experiences with them. Nonetheless, my grandfather told me, he said, Elijah, if you're short on the checklist of what makes a man, you make the woman insecure. So I started out short on the checklist with the second sister, okay? Now, in the first situation, I was short on the checklist as well, but I didn't know. I was just trying to accept the responsibility and make things happen. And things, went very good for a while, lasted 8 years. Praise be to Allah. I have a beautiful son. Anyhow, the second situation, I was not healed from the first situation and the trauma that happened in that relationship that I caused, and that she has responsibility in what she caused as well. However, when I was in St. Louis trying to manage this situation with this other sister, this wonderful sister, I was stimulated. I remember being at a banquet with Sister Ava Muhammad, may Allah be pleased with our wonderful star, wonderful sister. I hope she's on the wheel. But I remember being at the banquet and the sister saying to me, introduce me to Sister Ava. And I had reasons why I didn't want to go up there and introduce her at the time. And that became a problem because I was a little shameful of where I was, because I wasn't fixed from the first relationship pretty much, even though it was divorced and everything. And I just felt some type of way about introducing and going through that. So that caused a problem with the sister. So we in the line. We're in the banquet line for the buffet, getting food. And she's right behind me. She's japping on me. And it's loud. And it's Muslim believers in front of me and in back of her in the line. So now I'm getting embarrassed and I'm being stimulated. Like, I can't believe this woman is acting wild like this, right? Because she wouldn't follow what I was saying about how I wanted to do things. So she's arguing with me. And next thing you know, I'm just like, I just get stimulated and I'm like irritated. Now, a specific brother walks in the banquet that I had a traumatic experience with in Chicago. So he walks in, boom. Now, and it was related to my first situation. So now the energy from the first marriage and the damage that I suffered from that all was wrapped up in this whole situation with the new sister, right? So now I'm just like, my mind is about to explode. I'm so upset and stimulated. So I go outside and I go into the car. And I had it, and I never got to this. I never been successful at getting to this point of pain and making the right decision. So I got all the way to this point. And when I got in the car and shut the door, I saw two images in my mind. I saw the bar, and then I saw the prayer rug. And soon as I saw them both, I didn't think twice about the prayer rug. I went straight to the bar. I hadn't been drinking for the longest time. I went straight to the bar because that's what I was used to doing when I got to this level of pain. I wasn't used to letting them tears out on that prayer rug and asking God for comfort and for guidance and for counsel. I wasn't used to that. But now, I'm so thankful. I'm so thankful to Allah to have arrived at this point. And I know there's going to be new levels of pain where I'm going to be challenged to do that again, to return to Him again. But because He allowed me to get to that point, to understand that when you go through that pain, there is no remedy outside of Allah. There is no person or thing to go to outside of Allah. Yet, if we do, we set up a God besides Allah. And because I made that decision, it will be 10 years before I resurfaced to be sober from alcohol. 10 years. So my point of saying this is because pain without guidance, without an understanding of what to do with pain, how to manage pain, you take yourself into hell. And hell sometimes is a prison. And sometimes when you're in the prison of hell, you're set for a term. When you're imprisoned by something, there's a time you have to put in before you're released in that hell. And I was in that hell for 10 years for that mistake. I saw the prayer rug in my mind and I saw the bar and I went straight to the bar. My reason for saying this to us is I want us to think about the next time we're going through some heavy pain to try Allah and go to God with all of that pain. It is not worthy to go to anything else but Allah. A bottle is not worthy of your suffering. Your friend is not worthy of your suffering. Nobody is worthy of that pain but God, because He knows it more than anybody. And He is the only one who can take the pain and convert it into understanding, wisdom, and peace. He's the only one with that power. So we cannot set up a God besides God. When you are tried with this kind of pain, He said to seek assistance through patience and prayer.